ladies, gentlemen, and anything in between non-binaries. Welcome back to another HomeStoryCup game between Solar and SKillous, which will be determining the #1 placer in Group B. So whoever wins is the #1 from Group B, and the loser takes second place and will have to play against a different first place contestant from another group. So getting first place would be quite nice. It is of course a lovely ZVP, Zerg versus Protoss. Honestly, my favorite matchup of all time. And we're going to see another hatch block from SKillous. He has been doing this quite a bit in the match versus Fiant. We also saw him do these hatch blocks. And Fiant obviously retaliated with a nice proxy hatch in the first game. But in the subsequent games, he was not able to pull it out and actually got torn apart by SKillous quite a bit. Being abused for the fact that your creep is out further, but your bases are further apart, so your critical mass of drones is usually on your main and natural, but when your natural's on your third base, then suddenly there's a lot more drones there to be harassed. The bases are further apart, so the queens can't quite do the thing that they usually do in being a incredibly bonkers defensive unit. So we see fairly standard openers on both sides. So our gate nexus core, or not sure actually. Usually it is nexus core. Second gas and pylon. On the Zerg side, it's always interesting to see how they deal with this split base. So do they just go extra queens and delay this third base? Or you delay a queen and get a super fast natural so that the creep is already there. Both can work. In my experience, we are not mining any gas, so we have 100 gas exactly for the speed, and then we're going right into drones and queens, pumping up that economy with just minerals, 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 and we have a Stargate for SKillous here. Looking to not abuse the far apart bases with adepts like he did previously, which is very annoying to deal with for the Zerg. Like all those resonating glaive adepts shading in and out of your main base, your natural, and your third base is very annoying when your creep has not been connected yet. But not this game, because we have a Stargate, probably going to be oracles, which is still pretty annoying. You're almost forced to get spores in both bases right away. And what we've seen from Zergs is that they'll delay the spore crawler in the natural, and they won't put any drones on the natural either. Just leave the drones at the main and the third base, maybe even super saturating it a little bit, but just waiting till you have enough queens to cover everything, and then you transfer drones to the nat. So we do indeed have this first oracle on the way, which, let's see if he saves it. He's going to save it up for the double Oracle hit squad, which together they one-shot drones. That's always an interesting decision for the Protoss to make. We have a nice Stalker in the wall. This is very hard to bust with Banelings. Double Adept, so he might be moving out with both an Adept hit squad and double Oracle, which spells doom for lots of drones if you're not careful. Solar scouting in the main, and he sees the Stargate. He could have seen the double Oracle, or by the timing he might actually know. He clicked on the Twilight Council, so he knows the follow-up. SKillous nicely putting his gates outside of vision, just, not giving Solar any free vision. So here we have the two Oracles looking for some juicy kills. They get 1, 2, 3. Very nice. 4, 5. Ooh. Meanwhile, we have a little bit of harass with the Zerglings over here, but it's easily swatted away by the Adepts. 8 kills. By these Oracles. So we did lose one Oracle, sadly. but it is what it is. As we can see, it's 1 Oracle, 1 Probe, and 8 Lings lost their life at the 3rd base, so slightly uncomfortable for Solar, I presume. We have 5 Queens on the map, and they are walking across the map, and there is roaches on the way, so Solar's going for that 3rd base, saying like, this is a little too greedy for me. I don't think you have anything. I saw you teching. Maybe I can make something happen here. So I like this. This is interesting. I think he's going to make Ravagers and then reinforce with Mass Zergling. Let's see how many gases he's doing this off of. 2 gases, no drones in the natural, so this is pretty committed. 38 drones. So this kind of feels like Solar saying, I just lost 8+ drones to 8 drones in total to you, and you have a quick 3rd base. I don't feel comfortable playing this game out. So we're just going to do a massive attack. Nice stasis ward on a couple Lings. So those won't be able to tank for the Ravagers for now. They also won't be able to put out any DPS. Queens are here to protect the Ravagers from these Oracles, but they're not really doing their job. They're getting picked off by the Stalkers. Shoot Battery really doing his job. Damn, and just so many Blink Stalkers already. Like, Solar's Forces doesn't look that scary, and the Queens are just waddling back and forth. They can't transfuse anymore nowadays. So they're purely anti-air. They don't provide any of that juicy healing, and Solar just taps out. Game 1 goes to SKillous of this best of 3. And for Game 2, we're loading into Gresvan. SKillous versus Solar. We just saw SKillous kind of swat away a desperate Solar trying to get something done on the map of Dragon Scales after he lost a bunch of drones to double Oracle, double Adept Opener, which got some really nice harass done, even though I thought Solar did a good job of connecting his creep after being forced by SKillous to put his natural base in his 3rd location. But this time around, we see a drone coming out really early by Solar. This is 14 drones. He really wants his natural, but he wants the extra drones. So he actually had enough money to take his hatchery there on 14, but he doesn't want to float that larva, because if he gets the hatchery, then he's not using those larvae for a little bit. And that feels bad as a Zerg, so he actually elected to make 2 more drones before plopping down this hatchery. If you want to do a butchered version, you can just plop it down on 14 and just make the drones after. You'll have an earlier hatchery, which will produce 1 more larva for you. So it kind of evens out, kind of, but this is slightly more economical. The other side, we see Nexus before Cybercore again by SKillous. I'm kind of messing with Solar's head here. He was like, I don't want my hatchery misplaced again. You can see how annoying that is. And he did it once, denied the natural, and now Solar's playing completely differently, or at least he's playing more cautious, trying to make sure that he can just play his game. He's not thrown off at like minute 1 by SKillous's play. So let's see what we have here. We have a slightly delayed speed for Solar this game, probably caused by the fact that he was kind of psyched out by really wanting to get his natural in his natural. But he also knows that Solar didn't aggressively use his Adepts that much. He was actually saving them up. He made an Adept, then a Stalker, then an Adept, and he just kept them at home until he was sending out 2 Oracles together with the Adept. So this super fast speed didn't really do anything for Solar. So delaying his speed a little bit more economy. So nice adaptation here. Actually getting a nice creep tumor, because injecting right now whilst you get a 3rd base, you're already injecting your main, you probably don't actually have the money to spend all that larva when it pops. So you get that early creep going. And on SKillous' side, we have a Twilight and a Robo. So no Stargate this game. And it will be interesting to see what he's going to do. Maybe an old school Robo Archon. It's DTs. So this can still be Archon drop. but I think it's just going to be a nice DT rush. You can drop some DTs in the main, you can walk into the third, into the nat. And like, Zergs don't want to get a super early lair right now. And they're not going to build any spores if they think it's not Stargate. They'd probably elect to get a Roach Warren and get some gases up and get an army up, because Twilight Robo is usually an attack. So we're going to see if Solar actually scouts this in time. We have this War Prism being chronoed out, no Twilight upgrade, so it's just DTs. And on the other side, Solar's just droning and making queens. He has his queens near his hatcheries in case he missed the Stargate somewhere. I'm actually curious to see what Solar knows. Well, Solar knows nothing, boys and girls. Now he sees the Twilight at least. Let's see what's happening. He sees the DT Shrine. Hasn't clicked on it, but soonish. I've seen it. He has seen it. So he can prepare. You see 3 spores underway right away. Very clean. We have these links scouting out for... Is there a third? There's still no third. Last game, SKillous had a super fast third, which Solar felt like he had to punish, but couldn't. And now, we have SKillous kind of just chilling. He doesn't have a big gateway explosion, but there's 3 DTs in the natural right now. Spore is done. Warp Prism is trying to find them. Oh! Whew! The Warp Prism goes down with 3 DTs in them. 1 survives. The lucky DT that could. I think only a couple drones died there. 2 drones died. This does not seem good for SKillous. He doesn't have a third base yet. Although he could defend it with these. Damn, he made 3 more DTs. Yeah, that's the nice thing about DTs. Like, how are you gonna stop DTs? You don't have a lair, bro. Oh, he does, actually. But he doesn't have any overseers. Now he does. He probably started the lair as soon as he saw the DTs. Or the DT Shrine, actually. We have a robotics bay. I don't remember. These are probably still range 10 Colossi. So maybe we are going to see some of those. We have Blink on the way. 1 Forge for the attack upgrades. And as you can see, Solar... Oh, we do have an Archon drop of old. I called it a little early on those. So those are really annoying. Like, Zerglings just don't do anything against Archons. And 2 Archons with their splash just eat up Zerglings, drones, and even queens. So you really need the queens to both tank and shoo away the Warp Prism like this. That is just super annoying for the Zerg to deal with. So we have +1 on the way. We have Disruptors, actually. So it's going to be Blinkstalker Disruptor. One of my favorite compositions. I think people have elected to call it the comeback composition, which is fair enough. A couple of nice Disruptor hits and you're back in the game if you were ever out of it. And especially, I think the nicest feeling for a Protoss player is having those Disruptors blow up a nice juicy clump of roaches. So we have +1 melee on the way and Baneling Nest, so we're probably going to see Solar head into Banelings with speed and +2 in an attempt to one-shot these juicy probes in the 3rd and the future 4th base. But to parry that, we have a nice wall coming out from SKillous, so you'd have to blow up this pylon at least before you could get to the juicy backline of the probes. Even have Graphitic Drive, which is the Warp Prism speed. So I'm curious to see if he's going to use that for his Archon drop, or if it's going to be Disruptor drop, double Disruptor in this super fast Warp Prism to be. +1, almost done as well, so let's see if he's going to push with those or just take a 4th base. His units are going to be packing a punch, and there's no upgrades on the Zerg side just yet. Solar on 73 drones. Would like to get 1 more round of drones out before it really starts producing mass units. And here comes 1 Nova, 2nd Nova, no connections. But this doesn't cost him anything except for just the cooldown. The Zerg, you know, if he doesn't pay attention, suddenly these this juicy Roach Ravager backline gets explodinated. Oh, Solar moving out on the map with these +1 Stalkers, trying to see if he can get something done, make sure that the Zerg is not spreading Overlords everywhere. Doesn't have like a random pack of Roaches waiting to deny a 4th base or anything. And whoa, SKillous taking his 4th finally. Solar taking a 5th. Hive is on the way. 25 Bane Rings, baby. So he took a 5th, but he doesn't start his +2. This kind of looks like he's either expecting an attack or he just wants to go for a big attack on the 3rd and or 4th base. Oh, here come those Banelings waddling in, trying to get to the probes, but SKillous is just being passive. Solar was expecting him to move across the map maybe and trying to backstab. But instead, SKillous is just chilling. He's like, well, Ling Bane Ravager doesn't scale that well. 3 drones and a Roach, I believe. Nice free pickoffs with the Disruptor hits. I love this Disruptor War Prism sharking around the map, getting what it can get. And if he ever transitions into Lurkers or something similar, they're still good. These Disruptors just scale so well throughout the game. We have more Banelings, 20 more Banelings on the way. Solar is just kind of praying that SKillous moves out. And SKillous is like, well, Banelings, I'll just make a wall and Archons. What are you to do? Look at this. Stalkers, Archons, a wall. Solar's literally praying for SKillous to move across the map, and SKillous is just not doing that. SKillous is like, no. You're preying on me doing something that I'm just not gonna do. It's like when you play... Oh. Is that lucky, or is there an observer here? Because I don't know how he knew. But he knew where the 2 creep tumors were. But if you play a card game and you play a certain style where your opponent has to do something for you to be able to combo off, like, that's just a bad plan. Because if your opponent just doesn't do that, then suddenly your deck is useless. Well, that's kind of what Solar's army is right now. It's like, well, I hope you move out, because then I can kill your entire economy and collapse on your army. But instead, SKillous is like, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm actually just going to turtle up, get a massive amount of Archons, and just move out when I'm strong. Now we have a clash in the middle. These Vipers, really good counter to the Disruptors, but oh my god! The Zerg just evaporated to this mass Solar Nova. And Archons. How do you... Purifying balls of death. That's what we'll call them. Now, Solar, your army was so big. Now what are you doing? It's just balls with more balls. Okay, there's just a lot of balls in this Protoss army, okay? I can't help it. It's Archons and Disruptors. They're both ball units. And Banelings are balls, kind of. So it's just a lot of balls knocking into other balls. And I'm gonna be honest, like, if you're making Zerglings into 8+ Archons, it's not gonna feel good, especially because these Protoss units are +2. We have seen a lot of Disruptors go down, though. And Solar's trying to hang in here. And he just GG's out. I'm not gonna lie to you, that was kind of anticlimactic. It was just Solar massing up an army, trying to collapse onto SKillous' army if he would ever move out, and SKillous just didn't. He just didn't move out until he had critical mass of Archon, Disruptor, Blink Stalker, and then when he was like, now I'm strong, you're maxed on shitty units, I'm gonna go kill you now, sir. Damn. SKillous looked like a wall this game, and the previous one. Solar? A crazy good Zerg player just got swatted down by SKillous. I am impressed. What a clinic by the Protoss player. Guys, sorry for not knowing all the ability names. I'll look those back. Thank you for watching. I hope to get through the HomeStoryCup games before the Gamers 8 Riyadh games or replay pack releases, if it does at all. So if it does release, I'll increase the amount of games that I put out per week to really get through the Home Story Cup games. If you guys have any games that you want to see, maybe your own games or games that I missed from the Home Story Cup, be sure to comment it down below. I'll be sure to get those games out right to you. Until the next one, I'll see you then. Cheers.